Hey there guys, I'm Will and welcome to FP1. Now, as I was working on my Daniel Ricciardo video from last week, shameless plug by the way, link in the description, it got me thinking, if Daniel were to jump ship from Renault and end up at Ferrari, where would Sebastian Vettel go? And again, referencing that Daniel Ricciardo video, we know Sebastian has rejected Ferrari's first contract offer, and although talks will continue between the two parties, how long is it going to be before Ferrari decides, you know what, Vettel, it's just not worth it anymore? So let's start then with a little bit of history. Now, Sebastian Vettel first came onto the F1 scene in 2007 with BMW Sauber for a one-off appearance at the United States Grand Prix. Now, he started on 7th on the grid and finished 8th, scoring his first point in Formula 1, and then was very quickly snapped up by Toro Rosso for the rest of that season. Now, he stayed with Toro Rosso into 2008, of course, picked up the team's first ever win at the fantastic Italian Grand Prix. If you haven't seen that race, I recommend giving it a watch. It is phenomenal. And that meant, of course, he was very quickly picked up by Red Bull for the 2009 season, where, of course, he very nearly won the championship, just edged out by Jenson Button in the Brawn car. But yeah, there was a lot more to come. So, of course, 2010 to 2013, those were the really dominant years for Sebastian Vettel. 4 championships on the trot. Absolutely dominated the field pretty much all through those 4 years. And Red Bull were just a force to be reckoned with. No one seemed to match them. Of course, until the turbo hybrid era came around. So the 2014 season then came with a new technical regulations, new engines, and of course a new teammate in the form of Daniel Ricciardo. Now, Vettel struggled to adapt to this new scene, this new look of Formula 1, and was absolutely trounced by Ricciardo that year. Ricciardo picking up 3 wins, and Vettel barely only making a few podiums that year. And it was announced around the time of the Japanese Grand Prix that Vettel would be jumping ship from Red Bull and moving to Ferrari for 2015. Now, although Ferrari didn't necessarily have a championship winning car in 2015, Vettel was still able to pick up a few more wins in a much more successful season, as his previous team, Red Bull, really struggled that year and didn't pick up any wins at all. So another disappointing year in 2016, a second winless season for Ferrari in 3 years. But then 2017, they came back again a lot stronger, and really in championship contention this time around. But sadly, it was down to mistakes on Vettel's end and also mistakes from the strategy department that Ferrari really weren't able to capitalise the speed that they had in that car. There were times where that car was much faster than the Mercedes, but yeah, they couldn't quite turn it into a championship victory. And really from then on in, it's been a very, very similar situation. 2018, again, they had a car that could have won the World Championship, but it just wasn't there on the strategy side of things, and the actual team management wasn't really working. We obviously lost Kimi Raikkonen into that season as well. He was replaced by Charles Leclerc, and that's where things get interesting. So Charles was not really expected to be beating Sebastian Vettel at all in 2019. He was expected to be the second driver, but of course that was turned completely on its head with Charles picking up 2 wins to Vettel's 1. And again, Vettel just making lots of silly mistakes, lots of spins, and again, there were mistakes on the strategy department as well. And that's really why this entire contract situation has been cast into doubt, whether he really will see another season with Ferrari at the end of 2020. So today then, let's go over his possible options if he wants to stay in Formula 1, that is. And really the best place to begin with is that Ferrari contract. Now, Vettel said it before, the money isn't really the deciding factor, but the big thing is him getting a 2-year deal. Now, this is one of the reasons why he rejected Ferrari's first offer in the first place, at least according to Italian media, by the way. Yeah, we should kind of mention that, take that with a massive grain of salt. Maybe a bag of salt might be a better measurement. But yeah, they're only prepared to sign on for 1 year apparently, so he rejects that. He wants those 2 years. Now, I guess that's exactly what it with Kimi back, you know, it's from when he joined the team in 2014, or rejoined the team in 2014, and that meant there was constant speculation about where he would go, whether Kimi would be dropped every year, and Vettel just doesn't really want that. So realistically then, if Vettel was going to go somewhere else, it's going to have to be where he'd get a multi-year contract, and this really is where the problem begins. So, assuming that Hamilton stays with the Silver Arrows, that maybe puts 1 spot open at each of the top teams. You've got Bottas at Mercedes and Albon at Red Bull. Now, both of those contracts run out at the end of 2020. Now, either of these 2 moves, now they're not out of the question. It would be cool to see Vettel and Hamilton go head-to-head in the same machinery. I just can't see Mercedes risking a void between teammates like they had with Lewis and Nico up to 2016. And let's be honest, it's not like Vettel's had issues with teammates before, right? And really, it's a similar situation at Red Bull. So if Verstappen hadn't been signed onto that big contract earlier in the year, then yeah, maybe that was an option. But now they're just really looking for that perfect second driver, and I highly doubt Vettel will really want to fit in with that role. Albon's also a lot cheaper to employ and seems to get on with Max fine, so I don't really see a reason for Red Bull to change their lineup for 2021. So with no top team seats really up for grabs then, could we see Seb move somewhere else? Maybe even in the midfield, similar to what Kimi did in 2019? Well, if this is going to happen, I can only really see it being one of 2 teams. So firstly, perhaps the more obvious candidate is Renault. So if Daniel Ricciardo moves on, they're going to be looking for a driver anyway. And given their recent driver history has been signing drivers to 2-year deals, so you had Ocon on the 2-year deal, you had Ricciardo on the 2-year deal before that, this could work for Seb. And without Daniel's large pay packet as well, they could probably afford to have him in the team as well. And also at this time in Formula 1, it's not really a bad idea to take a risk with a midfield team. You've got the budget cap coming in, that's just been lowered even further. And obviously the new 2022 regulations, which could see Renault make that stride up onto the podium. You never know. But I guess the real problem with Renault for me is just that they've got that driver pool already. You've got Guan Yu Zhou, Christian Lundgaard already in F2, a few other drivers in F3 as well. They've got quite a large, junior driver program, and we've not really seen anyone step up just yet. And I think Renault are now at the point where they want to bring one of their younger drivers up into the top team and show that their driver academy is working. So then I guess the final option, and just bear with me on this one, could be Aston Martin. If you saw the Daniel Ricciardo video, you'll know why I've proposed this. So Aston want to come into the sport with a bang, and what better way to do that than get a 4-time world champion on board straight away in the team? I mean, they'd be more malleable when it comes to contract terms as well. It'd be a nice place really for Sebastian to end his career. And again, given that large cash injection they've got and the budget cap and the 2022 regulations, you never know where that team could be in a couple of years' time. This is what Force India were, and with so little money back in, 2016, 2017, they ended up 4th place in the Constructors' World Championship. That is fantastic. And with this more money and the budget cap, it's really interesting to see where this team could be in a few years' time. But truthfully, if you want to know what I think if Vettel doesn't get that Ferrari deal, he'll probably retire. And I know that's a bit of a boring way to end the video off, but it is genuinely my opinion on it. I mean, he always wants to win that title with Ferrari and emulate Michael Schumacher, but I just don't think that's going to happen. It's looking less and less likely every year. Maybe there were a couple of years where we could have done it, 2017, 2018 perhaps, but I just think, now Leclerc's come in as well, and Ferrari seems to be backing Leclerc more than they are for Sebastian Vettel. I just feel like his time might just have run out, and I think, unlike Kimi, Vettel would just rather retire whilst on top of his game and while in the top team as well. But hey, that is just my opinion. My question to you guys now is, where do you think he'll end up? So yeah, let me know down in the comments below, and while you're at it, don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well for weekly F1 content. But that's all from me. I hope you're all safe and well and have a fantastic rest of your week. I will see you guys in the next one.